Hello everyone, today is a special day because I'm going to teach you today something that I have been learning 3 or 4 years now, and will be going to be for my team members because everyone I work with and cooperate with or from other studios, no one knows this, so this is really special. Maybe they know some things, but not everything. Okay? So we are on this map. I built most of this map, and I learned basically everything on this map because this map is so giant, as you can see. This is from one of my games, and this map is so giant, but it is not lagging. And you might ask, why it is not lagging, Andre? Well, let's get to first thing, and that's probably the most important thing, and that is these things. Most people, if they would be doing something like this, they would turn it into unions, but what you need to do actually is turn it into Meshparts. And I learned this the hard way. I had this whole map in unions, but then it was lagging, so I had to remake the whole map to Meshparts. Okay, so I already made video about this, so I won't be explaining how to do Meshparts. I will just link in description how to do Meshparts and just learn from it. Okay, another thing is that often when people are building some buildings, and this is mostly some like starters do this, that instead of doing like big thing, this would be like whole building, they do like 4 parts for each wall. Well, if you are not doing inside of the building, then why do 4 walls? You need only 1 part, and that is basically like 4 times less parts. But if you build every building like this, every wall, 4 walls, and then maybe some decorations on every side, you have some decorations, then it's going to be messy, it's going to lag the game. Okay, here for example, it might not seem like it, but this thing covers two sides from the building. So instead of this being like 2 mesh parts or even 3 mesh parts for each side, you just used 1 mesh part for whole thing, basically everywhere where you can. Of course, you need to prepare the thing from both sides. Before that, you need to think about it a little bit more, but it is worth it. If you do it on a mass scale, it will lag the game very less. Next thing, and I don't know why not so many people do this. It is no-brainer to me. Like, if people don't see something, then just delete it. Like, why there needs to be windows or something if people won't see it? Oh, and even we made mistake here. We forgot to delete this. And as you can see, not everything is mesh part here because sometimes people forget, but you get the point. So if players sometimes don't see something, like it is inside some terrain like here, then just delete the things that are inside it, even though it is some building like here, so just delete it. And same thing, I spoke about this, but you don't need to do this with just these kinds of things like concrete. It can also be with like these parts. This part can be like this window here. At the same time, I would say 1 part here. Okay, and this can be used really everywhere. For example, before this version I was doing this road with someone else, and he made it in a way I didn't want to, but so it is in union. But in version before this, I had basically 1 giant part, and 1 giant part was doing the whole roads. Like 1 giant part was doing the whole road in a giant city like this. But now it is union because someone else was doing this with me. Also with railing, yeah, someone else was doing this with me. But if I would be doing this, I would just scale this part here. Okay, I think that's enough of explanation, and this will basically save you a lot of time. But you also need to know, like, your team needs to know this also, because otherwise they will be doing like these stupid mistakes like here. And really, like, often it's funny because often optimization saves you a lot of time with building. With Meshparts it's not true, but with other things it saves you way more time. Here is another good example. I used one part for like 8 windows here, basically. And that's what you can do also. Also here, you know, like it saves you a lot of things. Also, I know this is no brainer, but you know, if you are doing some bed or whatever, then you need to copy the same mesh part, you know, to different bed. Don't do like another mesh part. Do not export selection again, because you know now it's the same mesh parts, same ID, so Roblox will, you know, load it as one thing, basically. And now we are getting to more interesting stuff, and this is mostly with roleplay games, or you know, like games where people carry some gear on them or something, or even tools. Everything that player is carrying needs to be mesh part, not union, because you know then a lot of people, you know, carry something on map, they move with it. It can be like 100 times there. If there is 100 players, then it needs to be mesh parts. Now here we made mistake, we want to remake this if we will ever, you know, do this game again. But basically yes, here it is good. For example, everything that can be mesh part needs to be mesh part that people are wearing. That's probably like, that will do for you maybe even like 30% performance boost if it is like some roleplay gear or something. Or you know, here gloves are here full mesh part, or you know, yeah, we always have it here, like this sword is from mesh parts instead of being like from, I don't know, 200 parts, or yeah, okay, this is union, whatever. But yeah, but you get the point. What can be mesh part needs to be mesh part. Even these, you know, mustache, hairs and stuff, these two, basically everything they wear on themselves. Now I have a lot of these things, you know, with optimization and stuff, but I cannot, you know, come up with any of them right now. And what I need just to come up with them is I need likes and I need subscribes. So if you want more tips from my 4 years of experience, then I want that like, I want that subscribe. Yeah, it's begging or something, but you know, it's 4 years of knowledge, so it's truly worth it for that subscribe and that like. Now these things that I mentioned today might seem like too simple to some, maybe to some if they never heard of it, maybe like too hard or something, but it's mostly about remembering these things and putting them into practice. It's not about like some difficulty or something, it's about remembering it. And always when you are building something that needs to be optimized, then you need to, you know, like think of it and use it. Because what you don't want to do is build whole building with unions. Yeah, let's say that this thing would be union. I would copy every window here, yeah, every window, blah blah blah, and everything would be unions. What you need to do is when you are building this window is think like, you know, like you have this from union right now, and you need to think, oh, because I'm going to duplicate this on whole map, I need to turn it into mesh part and then duplicate everything. Because if you do it this way, it will save you tons of time. Instead, you know, duplicating everywhere unions, and then it will be mess, and then, you know, your brain will blow up, and you probably will never optimize the map. That was the same thing like happened here with when I was building this with someone else, but luckily we figured it out. But don't make yourself a mess. Just remember the points I mentioned, so you don't have to fix the whole map when it will be lagging. So again, if you want second part, like and subscribe. Bye bye and good luck.